I suppose the thing that strikes me as so surprising about uh, Cardinal Vincent Nichols' um, intervention in the assisted dying bill debate is is twofold. Firstly, how long it's taken him to actually write something and to commit something to um, the media, and secondly, that he's doing so at a point when Kim Ledbetter's bill is essentially dead anyway. On the 25th of April, the House of Commons will face one of the gravest decisions in recent memory, whether or not to advance the terminally ill adults end of life bill, a proposal that would, in principle, legalise assisted suicide in Britain. The bill, sponsored by Kim Ledbetter, has already ignited widespread ethical, medical, and religious debate, but I think that debate is over. And in the last few days, there's a powerful voice that's entered the fray with renewed urgency. Cardinal Vincent Nichols, the Archbishop of Westminster, the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference in England and Wales, and his intervention is both principled and procedural. The Catholic Church has long opposed assisted dying on theological grounds that life is sacred, bestowed by God, and not to be prematurely ended by human hands. But Nichols' recent pastoral letter goes further. It's a warning not just against the content of the bill, but against the deeply flawed process by which it has reached this stage. And that, I think, is a worthwhile contribution. In the message that was read in Catholic parishes this weekend, Cardinal Nichols urges the faithful, and indeed all concerned citizens, to write to their MPs. It's not a routine call. The last time Nichols asked Catholics to take a similar political action was over a decade ago. The gravity of his request is a signal in itself. So his criticisms, there's three major criticisms. First, the legislative process itself. Nichols charges Parliament with having failed to debate assisted dying in an adequate and responsible manner. The bill, he notes, was long and complex, yet published only days before it was debated. The committee stage only saw 3 days of evidence, with an over-representation of voices in favour of the bill. And this, he says, is not the way to legislate on matters of life and death. No royal commission, no independent inquiry, no comprehensive national consultation, and he's quite right. Second, the slippery slope argument, often dismissed by progressives, is reiterated here with precision. In nearly every country where assisted suicide has been legalised, its remit has expanded from terminally ill patients to those with chronic diseases, mental health issues, and even minors. Nichols asks, can MPs guarantee the scope will not widen here? And thirdly, the safeguards of medical ethics. And originally we're told judicial oversight would be a key feature. Now it's not even considered necessary. What of coercion? What of vulnerable individuals who may opt for death because they fear becoming a burden? And what happens to NHS capacity? Will we risk trading palliative care for what Nichols calls grimly a national death service? And it's worth remembering the broader context. Dr. Dominic Whitehouse, a palliative medicine consultant, addressed Parliament to confirm what many already feared: our hospice and end-of-life care services are already in crisis. Beds are closing, staff are being cut. Patients are dying without access to adequate care. The hospice movement itself has already been caught up in the NIC expansion, the national insurance contributions. This has already put additional pressure on hospices. And this bill, in his view, risks becoming an escape route from a healthcare system in decline rather than a compassionate response to suffering. Cardinal Nichols puts it starkly: no one should be dispatched as a burden to others. Instead, he argues we should fund and expand palliative care, affirming the dignity of life to its natural end. To reduce the final stage of life to a logistical burden, a matter of efficiency or choice, is for him a betrayal of our moral duty. There's also a biting political undertone. Nichols remarks with justified cynicism that the House of Commons spent far more time debating the ban on fox hunting than it is spending debating assisted suicide. If Parliament cannot allocate sufficient time to scrutinise the ethical architecture of this legislation, how can it claim to act with moral authority? So, what now? The Cardinal's call to action is not simply religious dogma, it's an appeal to procedural fairness, public accountability and compassion. And even those who might, in theory, support assisted dying on libertarian or humanitarian grounds, they must surely balk at this hasty introduction without full parliamentary and public engagement. The debate is not only about the right to life, it's about the right to scrutinise. And as April the 25th approaches, the question facing MPs is not just whether assisted dying is right in principle, it's whether this particular bill, born of haste and thin scrutiny, is fit to become law. In the words of Cardinal Nichols, even if you have written before, please make contact now with your MP and ask them to vote against this bill, not only on grounds of principle, but because of the failure of Parliament to approach this issue in an adequate and responsive manner.